In the glittering heart of Manhattan's most exclusive restaurant, a black cleaner, invisible to the elite, wipes tables in the shadows. Across the room, billionaire tech mogul Victor Langston commands every glance, his 8-year-old son Ethan fidgeting beside him. Suddenly, Ethan's small hands claw at his throat, his face turning ghostly white as he chokes. The clatter of silverware crashes to silence, rich scents of truffle and wine fading under stifled gasps. Diners freeze, their diamond-encrusted wrists motionless, as Victor's power crumbles in panic. But the cleaner, Marcus Reed, doesn't hesitate. His rough hands steady with purpose, shove past stunned waiters, his eyes locked on Ethan's fading breath. With one swift move, he reaches the boy, ready to act as the room holds its breath. What happens when a cleaner's courage humbles a billionaire? Hit like if you believe in unsung heroes. This single moment will change everything. Can Marcus save Ethan and spark a revolution no one saw coming? The restaurant, a cathedral of wealth in Manhattan's glittering core, hums with the clink of champagne flutes and the rustle of silk gowns. Crystal chandeliers cast golden light over white tablecloths, where tycoons and socialites savor plates scented with truffle and ambition. At the room's edge, Marcus Reed, a black cleaner, glides unnoticed, his mop tracing silent arcs across polished marble. His worn shoes squeak faintly, ignored by waitstaff who bow to patrons' every whim. Across the dining hall, billionaire Victor Langston holds court, his sharp voice cutting through the murmur as he snaps into a phone, sealing a $1 million deal. His 8-year-old son Ethan slumps beside him, fidgeting with a bread roll, his small cough lost in the din. Victor's tailored suit and steely gaze command deference. Waiters hover, patrons nod. But Marcus is a ghost in their world. Have you ever felt invisible? Marcus's steady hands, honed by a past he keeps buried, pause as he catches Ethan's restless glance, a flicker of unease in the boy's eyes. The air feels heavy, charged with unspoken rules. Wealth rules here, and cleaners don't cross lines. Yet Marcus's quiet pride burns beneath his faded uniform, his observant gaze missing nothing, not the sparkle of diamond-encrusted wrists, not the boy's fingers toying with a morsel too large. The social chasm between Victor's throne and Marcus's shadows yawns wide. But something stirs, a tension coiling beneath the restaurant's polished surface. Ethan's cough grows sharper, unnoticed by his father, whose phone call drowns out the world. Marcus tightens his grip on the mop, his heart ticking like a clock, sensing a moment that could shatter this fragile order forever. Ethan's cough cracks like a whip through the restaurant's gilded haze, his small body lurching forward. His bread roll, half chewed, lodges deep, and his hands claw at his throat, eyes bulging with terror. Victor Langston's phone clatters to the table, his steely facade shattering as he lunges toward his son, voice hoarse. "Ethan, somebody help!" The Manhattan elite freeze, champagne flutes tilt, a socialite scream paralyzed by the chaos. Marcus Reed's mop hits the marble with a thud. His heart slams against his ribs, but his eyes, sharp as ever, lock on Ethan's fading form. He sprints, weaving through velvet chairs, shoving a silver tray aside as it crashes in a spray of crystal. Gasps ripple. A tycoon mutters, "Who's that?" The manager, red-faced, barrels forward, barking, "Reed, step back! This isn't your place." Marcus doesn't flinch. "I know what I'm doing," he says, voice low, steady as stone. He reaches Ethan, his rough hands honed by years of unseen resolve, sliding around the boy's trembling frame. Victor stares, mouth agape, his billion-dollar empire useless against his son's shallow gasps. Marcus plants his feet, muscles taut, and pulls Ethan close, his fingers finding the precise spot beneath the boy's ribs. "Stay with me, kid," he murmurs, voice a lifeline in the storm. He thrusts once, twice, with measured force, each move a silent prayer. The room holds its breath. A diamond bracelet glints as a patron clutches her pearls. The manager snaps, "You're not trained for this!" But a waiter hisses, "Let him try!" Ethan's body jerks, a choked wheeze escaping. Then, a sharp, ragged gasp. The obstruction flies free, skittering across the tablecloth. Ethan collapses against Marcus, gulping air, his pale cheeks flushing with life. The crowd exhales, a wave of murmurs swelling, some awed, others indignant. "A cleaner?" a woman scoffs, her voice dripping with disdain. Marcus kneels, steadying Ethan, his hand gentle on the boy's shoulder. "You're okay now," he says, eyes scanning for signs of distress, every instinct honed by a past he's buried deep. Ethan's small hand grips his, a flicker of trust in his wide eyes. Victor stumbles forward, his tailored suit rumpled, words catching in his throat. You saved him," he stammers, but his gaze flicks to the gawking diners, a shadow of unease crossing his face. The manager looms, hissing, "This isn't over, Reed, you've crossed a line." Marcus rises, his steady presence unshaken. But the weight of their stares, Victor's, the manager's, the elite's, presses like a storm cloud. "Would you act in a crisis? Comment below." The restaurant's polished order lies in shards, and Marcus stands at its center. An unsung hero whose single act has cracked Victor's world wide open. The manager's glare sharpens, promising retribution, while a waiter whispers to another, "He's done what none of us could." A socialite's phone flashes, capturing the scene, her caption already forming. "Cleaner saves billionaire's son. Scandal or miracle?" Victor's hand hovers over Ethan's shoulder, but his eyes lock on Marcus, torn between gratitude and the unfamiliar sting of being outshone. Ethan's breath steady, his small voice croaking, "Thank you," barely audible over the rising hum of the crowd. Marcus nods, his heart still racing, sensing the ripple of this moment stretching far beyond the marble floors. The billionaire's world, once unassailable, now teeters on the edge of change, and every eye in the room knows it. What Marcus did was more than save a life. It was a spark, and the fire is just beginning. Marcus Reed stands tall, Ethan's shaky "thank you" echoing in his ears as the restaurant's elite murmur and stare. His steady hands, still warm from gripping the boy, tremble faintly now, not from fear, but from a memory that surges unbidden. Years ago, under a flickering bulb in a cramped Bronx apartment, Marcus hunched over a tattered first aid manual, its pages creased from desperate study. His younger brother, Jamal, had choked on a grape one summer evening, his laughter turning to silence before Marcus could act. The paramedics were too late. That night, Marcus vowed no one else would slip away on his watch. He practiced the Heimlich in the dark, his breath ragged, driven by a promise carved in grief. What drives you to keep going? Despite years scrubbing floors, ignored in low-wage jobs, Marcus carried that vow like a quiet flame. His skills, honed in solitude, were his defiance against a world that saw him as less. Now as Victor Langston's conflicted eyes meet his, Marcus's hands steady once more. The same hands that saved Ethan moments ago. The memory of Jamal's still face fuels his calm, a strength no diner's scorn can shake. The manager's glare burns, the socialite's phone still flashes, but Marcus feels only the weight of Ethan's trust, the boy's small hand lingering in his. This isn't just a rescue, it's redemption. A bridge from his past to this chaos. The restaurant's tension coils tighter, Victor's gratitude warring with his unease, but Marcus stands unmoved, his resolve a silent challenge to the billionaire's world. He saved a life, but the ripples of this moment, Victor's debt, the crowd's whispers, promise a reckoning that could reshape everything. The manager, Mr. Thornton, pounces, his voice a whip cracking through the restaurant's golden glow. "Reed, you've overstepped," he bellows, jabbing a finger at Marcus, who stands firm, shoulders squared against the crowd's stares. "This is no place for cleaners playing hero. You're done here." The elite gasp, champagne flutes trembling. A chef in the corner nods quietly, respect in his eyes, while an heiress sneers. He doesn't belong touching a Langston. Marcus's steady hands flex, the vow to his lost brother Jamal anchoring him as Thornton's threat echoes. Ethan, clutching his chair, whispers, "Don't fire him, please," his small voice piercing the din. But Thornton ignores him, his clipboard a shield of authority. The socialite's phone hums, her video now trending, fueling the room's electric tension. Victor Langston rises, his tailored suit creased, gratitude for Ethan's life warring with unease at Marcus's spotlight. "Name?" he demands, voice sharp, eyes narrowing as if weighing a prize or a threat. "Marcus Reed," Marcus replies, unflinching, his tone a quiet defiance that silences the murmurs. A waiter mutters, "He's got nerve." while the businessman from before scribbles, sensing a headline. Why risk it? Victor presses, stepping closer, his power reasserting itself. You're nobody here. Marcus's gaze holds steady, Jamal's memory stealing him. Somebody had to, he says, each word a spark in the billionaire's world. Ever face judgment for doing right? Comment below. Ethan's eyes, bright with trust, lock on Marcus, his small hand reaching out, a silent plea that softens Victor's edge. Thornton snarls. Mr. Langston, I'll ensure this never happens again. He's a disruption. But Victor's hand halts him, his mind churning. Ethan's life saved, yet this cleaner's prominence stings. The chef whispers to a busboy, Reed's one of us, not them. The heiress's friend snaps, he'll ruin the restaurant's name. Marcus feels the weight of their judgment. But Ethan's grateful glance grounds him, a beacon through the storm. The socialite's video pings, comments flooding. Hero or troublemaker? Victor's voice cuts through, softer but firm. What's your story, Reed? Nobody moves like that without training. Marcus pauses, his past as a paramedic, a life left behind, hovering on his tongue, but he holds back, sensing a trap. Just did what was needed, he says, sidestepping scrutiny. The crowd leans in, sensing a drama unfolding. Thornton hisses, You'll be blacklisted, Reed, no job in this city. Marcus's pulse races, but his resolve, forged in grief, doesn't waver. Victor's eyes flicker, gratitude, curiosity, unease. We're not done, he says, voice low, a summons disguised as a promise. My office, tomorrow, 9 a.m. The waiter exhales, the chef nods, and the businessman's pen flies. Ethan's small smile, a lifeline, steadies Marcus, as Thornton's glare vows revenge. The restaurant's fragile order, already splintered, now faces a reckoning. Marcus's act has ignited a fire. Victor's debt, Ethan's trust, the crowd's whispers, and the billionaire's next move could either lift Marcus up or crush him. The air hums with stakes higher than ever, and every eye waits for the fallout. The restaurant's golden light dims as Victor Langston's summons. My office, tomorrow, 9 a.m., lands like a gauntlet. Marcus Reed exhales, his steady hands grounded by Ethan's trusting smile, while Thornton's venomous glare and the heiress's flashing phone signal a storm brewing. The crowd's whispers fade, but the weight of Victor's words lingers, a crossroads for Marcus's defiance. Will this billionaire lift him up, or shut him out? If Marcus's courage to save Ethan moves you, hit like to celebrate unsung heroes. Subscribe for more stories where one act sparks a revolution, because bravery like this changes everything. Who's a hero in your life? Comment their name and why they inspire you. Share this video to spread Marcus's spark and join us to see what happens next. Will Victor's gratitude reshape their worlds, or will the elite's rules crush Marcus's flame? The tension hums, Ethan's small hand still warm in Marcus's memory, as he braces for a meeting that could redefine his future. Don't miss the next step. This story's fire is just igniting. The Manhattan sunrise glints off Langston Tower's glass spire as Marcus Reed steps from a rattling subway into a world far from his Bronx apartment. The lobby's marble gleams, its silence a stark shift from the restaurant's clinking flutes and whispered judgments. An assistant, her heels clicking, escorts Marcus to the 40th floor, where Victor Langston's office sprawls, a minimalist fortress of steel and glass overlooking a city Victor seems to own. Marcus, in his best worn jacket, feels the weight of last night's summons. My office, 9 a.m. And Ethan's trusting smile, a beacon through the storm of Thornton's threats and the socialite's viral video. His steady hands, still warm from that vow to Jamal, clutch a faded paramedic badge, a relic of a life he lost. The assistant nods at a leather chair. Mr. Langston's finishing a call. Marcus waits, the skyline's vastness dwarfing his modest dreams, yet his resolve burns bright. Victor strides in, his tailored suit pristine, but his eyes betray a flicker of last night's panic. Mr. Reed, he says, voice smooth yet probing, you saved my son. Name your price. Marcus's jaw tightens, the badge heavy in his pocket. I don't want your money, he replies, voice steady, echoing his defiance in the restaurant. Victor's brow arches, unaccustomed to refusal. A job then, head of security, 6 figures. Marcus shakes his head, the memory of Jamal's still face fueling his words. I was a paramedic once. Lost it to budget cuts and bosses who didn't see me. I want to train others. Free first aid classes for communities like mine. Victor leans back, stunned, his fingers drumming on a glass desk. You're turning down wealth for charity? Marcus's eyes don't waver. Not charity. Lives. Like Ethan's. What's your dream worth fighting for? Comment below. Victor's gaze shifts to a photo of Ethan, his son's smile a raw reminder of last night's terror. I could have lost him, he admits, voice low, a crack in his billionaire armor. Why you, a cleaner? Marcus pulls out the badge, its edges worn from years of hope. Trained 10 years ago, practiced every night after losing my brother to a choke. I don't just clean floors, I save lives when it counts. The words land like a thunderclap, Victor's assumptions crumbling, a flashback flickers. Marcus in a dim room, hands steady on a mannequin, vowing never again. Victor's eyes narrow, calculating. Training programs cost millions, you're asking for a blank check. Marcus leans forward. I'm asking for a chance to stop tragedies before they start. You owe Ethan that much. The billionaire's silence stretches. The city's hum faint through the glass. Victor rises, pacing, his control fraying. You're bold, Reed, I'll give you that, he says, respect creeping into his tone. But I don't hand out miracles. Marcus stands, badge in hand, his voice unwavering. Then fund the program. Let me run it my way. No strings, no corporate games. Victor stops, caught off guard by the audacity. You think you can dictate terms to me? Marcus's gaze holds firm, Ethan's small hand from last night steadying him. I think you know what's right. Victor's jaw twitches, the man who commands empires now wrestling with a cleaner's truth. After a beat, he nods. I'll fund it. 5 million. 1-year pilot. But my board oversees every move, and you report to me. Fail, and it's over. Marcus's heart races, the badge warm in his palm. Deal, he says, knowing the conditions are a leash, a test of his resolve in a world that's never given him an inch. The assistant peeks in, sensing the shift, as Victor's eyes linger on Marcus, a mix of admiration and wariness. The city sprawls below, indifferent, but this office feels like a battlefield. The agreement, a fragile bridge between Marcus's past and a future he's dared to claim. Ethan's life, Jamal's loss, and the restaurant's chaos converge in this moment, and Marcus knows the real fight, proving his vision, has just begun. Victor's conditions loom, a shadow over the victory, and the weight of what's next presses hard as Marcus steps toward a door that leads to everything or nothing. Marcus Reed's deal still rings in Langston Tower's sterile air. Victor Langston's wary nod sealing a $5 million gamble with a leash of corporate oversight. The city's skyline looms through glass walls, a silent judge, as Marcus's faded paramedic badge rests on the desk, its weight rivaling Victor's empire. His steady hands, steady as when they saved Ethan, reach into his jacket, pulling out a worn notebook, its edges frayed like his dreams. This is why I acted, Marcus says, voice firm, sliding it toward Victor. The billionaire's brow furrows, skepticism etched in his frown, expecting gratitude, not strategy. Marcus opens the notebook, revealing pages dense with plans. Free first aid classes, community center schedules, budgets for underserved neighborhoods. I saw you in that restaurant, he admits. A man with power to make this real. Saving Ethan was instinct, but it was also my chance. Victor's fingers trace the meticulous handwriting, pausing at a sketch of a training room. Each chair a life Marcus envisions saved. You planned this? He asks, voice sharp but tinged with curiosity. Marcus nods, the memory of Jamal's choked silence fueling his words. Lost my brother to a moment no one was ready for. That night in the restaurant, I knew your influence could amplify my mission. Stop tragedies before they start. The catalyst's chaos flashes. Marcus's sprint, Ethan's gasp. A calculated risk to prove his worth. Victor leans back, his empire's logic clashing with Marcus's audacity. You're a cleaner, not a visionary, he starts, but his eyes linger on a note. For Jamal. His skepticism cracks, admiration seeping in as he sees a man who turned grief into a blueprint. What's a cause you'd fight for? Share below. Marcus's voice softens, tying back to that night. Every move, my hands on Ethan, my stand against Thornton, was for this. Not just one life, but thousands. Victor flips a page, finding a timeline starting months ago. Marcus's late-night scribbles a defiance of his invisible life. The billionaire's jaw tightens, the photo of Ethan on his desk a silent echo of Marcus's loss. This is ambitious, Victor concedes, his voice quieter, respect replacing doubt. He closes the notebook, its weight now undeniable. Your program's funded, but my board's conditions stand. Prove this works, or it's done. Marcus's heart leaps, the badge beside the notebook a symbol of his past fueling his future. The office's cold steel feels warmer, a battlefield turning into a launch pad, but Victor's watchful gaze warns of challenges ahead. The assistant hovers, sensing history in the making. As Marcus tucks the notebook away, his mission no longer hidden. Victor's admiration, hard-won, shifts the air, but the corporate leash looms, a test of Marcus's resolve. Ethan's trusting smile, the restaurant's chaos, and Jamal's loss converge, driving Marcus toward a fight for lives beyond these glass walls. The city below pulses, unaware of the spark ignited here, but Marcus knows this revelation, his plan laid bare, has set a course that could change everything, if he can outmaneuver the billionaire's world. Marcus Reed's notebook, its plans now a reality, rests in his pocket as he steps from Langston Tower's glass fortress into a Brooklyn community center, transformed for today's launch. 6 months after that restaurant night, the air hums with anticipation, banners proclaiming Reed First Aid Initiative fluttering under bright lights. Cameras flash, reporters jostle, and a diverse crowd, families, teens, elders, packs the room, their chatter drowning out memories of Manhattan's clinking flutes. Marcus, no longer in a cleaner's uniform but a crisp program jacket, stands at a training station, his steady hands guiding a young woman's grip on a mannequin. Firm like this, he says, voice commanding yet warm, a far cry from the shadows where he once mopped. Ethan Langston, 9 now, mirrors Marcus's moves nearby, his small hands steady as he practices a Heimlich, confidence blooming where fear once gripped him. The room, once a warehouse, pulses with life, a stark contrast to the restaurant's cold elite. Victor Langston enters, his tailored suit softer today, his presence quieter than the billionaire who demanded Marcus's name. Reporters turn, expecting a tycoon's speech, but Victor's eyes find Marcus, then Ethan, a flicker of that night's terror softening his gaze. I almost lost my son, he begins, voice raw, addressing the crowd. A man I never saw, a cleaner, saved him. I ignored people like Marcus Reed, the invisible ones who keep our world turning. I was wrong. The audience hushes, cameras zooming as Victor's admission ripples, a billionaire humbled, echoing that chaotic night when Marcus's hands broke his world open. This program, Victor continues, is his vision, not mine. It's a start to see those I overlooked. Marcus pauses, his heart swelling, the heiress's sneer and Thornton's threats fading against this moment's weight. Ethan, finishing his drill, beams at Marcus, his once pale face now flushed with pride. I got it, he calls, drawing smiles from trainees. A nurse, a shopkeeper, a student, all learning under Marcus's lead. The contrast stings. Where Marcus was once a ghost, ignored by diamond-encrusted wrists, he now commands a room, his voice a beacon for lives he'll save. Reporters scribble, one whispering, "This is bigger than Langston." Marcus kneels beside Ethan, adjusting his stance, their bond a silent echo of that restaurant rescue, when Ethan's small hand clung to his. The crowd watches, moved, as Marcus's mission, born from Jamal's loss, takes root. Its seeds sown in that calculated sprint through velvet chairs. Victor steps forward, his voice steadying. We're expanding this nationwide, 10 cities, 10 centers, despite my board's doubts, he declares. A nod to the corporate leash Marcus defied. It's not enough, but it's a beginning. The crowd erupts, trainees cheering, cameras flashing like the socialite's phone, but now celebrating, not judging. Marcus's eyes meet Victor's, a mutual respect forged through fire, though the billionaire's conditions linger. A shadow on the horizon. Inspired by Marcus? Like and share to spread his vision. This isn't just a launch, it's a revolution, one life at a time. The center buzzes, trainees practicing under Marcus's watchful eye, Ethan among them, his confidence a mirror of Marcus's resolve. Victor lingers, watching his son, no longer the distracted tycoon but a father learning to follow. The room, packed with hope, stands in defiance of that restaurant's rigid order, where Marcus was nobody. Now he's the heart of a movement, his notebook's plans alive, each trainee a step toward redeeming Jamal's loss. Reporters swarm, one asking, "Mr. Reed, what's next?" Marcus smiles, the badge in his pocket a quiet vow. Victor's commitment, bold yet fragile, signals a transformation cemented, not just for Marcus, but for a billionaire who's learned to see, and a boy who's learned to stand. The cameras roll, capturing a moment that will ripple far beyond Brooklyn, a spark from that chaotic night, now a blazing fire, with Marcus at its core, ready to face whatever comes next. The Brooklyn Community Center, once a warehouse, now thrives, its walls echoing with trainees' laughter and the click of first aid kits. A year after the launch, Marcus Reed's program has certified 800 Brooklynites, their skills rippling through neighborhoods far from Manhattan's chandeliers. In a sunlit office, Marcus sketches a new training module on a whiteboard, his steady hands tracing lives he's vowed to save. Victor Langston sits across, his suit jacket off, nodding as Marcus outlines classes for the Bronx. "This could work," Victor says, a far cry from the tycoon who once demanded Marcus's price. Their collaboration, forged in Langston Tower's glass fortress, now feels like equals planning a shared dream. Ethan's smile a silent bond between them. The faded paramedic badge on Marcus's desk gleams, a testament to the mission born from Jamal's loss. A news report interrupts their work, a TV screen flickering with a headline. "Local teen saves child at park. Credits, Reed Initiative." A 16-year-old trainee, taught by Marcus, performed a Heimlich on a choking toddler, mirroring that restaurant night when Marcus saved Ethan. Victor's eyes soften, the memory of Ethan's pale face vivid, while Marcus grips his notebook. Jamal's laughter echoing in the save, the milestone cements their work. Lives preserved, tragedies stopped. At a community festival, Victor arrives, no longer aloof, shaking hands with trainees, a nurse, a bodega owner, a student. His laughter mingles with theirs, the billionaire who once ignored invisible workers now learning their names. His humility a stark shift from the restaurant's cold elite. Ethan, nearby, shows a friend a first aid move, his confidence a beacon of recovery. Marcus watches, the festival's music weaving through his thoughts. The restaurant's chaos, Thornton's threats, the socialite's phone, Ethan's gasp, feels distant, yet it sparked this legacy. His mission, scribbled in that worn notebook, now breathes in every trainee, honoring Jamal's silence with lives saved. The center's growth, with 10 cities on Victor's horizon, is no longer a dream but a movement, each class a defiance of the world that once overlooked him. Know someone making a difference? Comment their name below. This isn't just a program, it's a promise kept, and your support fuels it. Like and subscribe to follow stories, where one spark changes everything. Victor joins Marcus, clapping a trainee's shoulder, his board's oversight no longer a leash but a challenge they tackle together. The festival pulses, kids playing, families cheering, a far cry from the restaurant's rigid order. Marcus's reflection deepens, his hand brushing the badge, Jamal's loss now a light guiding others. The news report replays, the teen's grin a mirror of Ethan's, and Marcus knows this is only the beginning. Victor's commitment, once fragile, now stands firm, a billionaire transformed by a cleaner's vision. The center's impact stretches beyond Brooklyn, its roots in that chaotic night when Marcus's hands, steady then as now, cracked open a world. As the sun sets, casting gold over the festival, Marcus feels the weight of his legacy. A vow fulfilled, a future unfolding, and a city learning to save itself, one life at a time. The Brooklyn Festival fades into twilight, its music lingering as Marcus Reed stands amid the community center's glow, the first aid program's legacy pulsing around him. The sun's golden rays catch Ethan's grin, a boy transformed, and Victor Langston's humbled handshake with a trainee, a billionaire reshaped. Marcus's reflection, rooted in that restaurant's chaos, where his steady hands saved Ethan and sparked a movement, carries Jamal's loss into a living promise. One brave act can shatter barriers, igniting change that bridges worlds. Marcus, once invisible, now leads a revolution, proving unseen heroes can redefine society's gaze, from Manhattan's elite to Brooklyn's heart. This is transformation, from a cleaner sprint through velvet chairs to a billionaire's heart opened wide, from a boy's fear to his fearless first-aid drill. Every small act counts, and you can fuel this fire. Don't miss more stories of heroes like Marcus. Subscribe now for tales where ordinary courage sparks extraordinary change. What's your small act that could change a life? Comment below and inspire others. Like and share to honor Marcus's legacy, because one spark can light a world. Join us to see how every step forward, every life saved, builds a future where no one's invisible. The center's lights burn bright, Marcus's badge a quiet vow, and as the festival's hope rises, the story of courage, connection, and change lives on, ready to inspire you next.